Imagine just an atomic bomb coming out of nowhere. The devastating power of the atomic bomb coming, right? And you're just like having a normal day, just walking. And all of a sudden, you feel your body getting hotter and hotter. And you turn around to see that your skin is slowly peeling off. And you don't know what's going on. You didn't have no warning, no nothing, no consent. So you're trying to run as fast as you could, but the atomic bomb was already there. You're sitting at a hospital waiting just for your skin to just revive, like to just heal back, but it couldn't. You're sitting there for about 20 years just waiting, just wasting your life. Do you think that was the right decision? Because in my opinion, I don't think so.
Imagine if you're the leader of a country that's in a war and your citizens are begging you to make it stop as soon as possible. They're tired of all the suffering and all the lives being lost all around them. But luckily, your team has a secret weapon that can end this issue quickly. You guys are they're tired of all the suffering and lives being lost. How would you feel if your country was begging you to end the war as fast as possible? So Truman made some tough decisions as president. Some were tough, like using atomic bombs, but he thought they were needed to make things better in the long run. And he tried his best to protect his country as the leader. And today, me and my team will reveal to each and every one of you that he made the right decision.
Truman's decision was wrong because the bomb had killed many civilians that were innocent. In document G, it states, "Then I looked at myself and found my clothes had turned into rags due to the heat. I was probably burnt at the back of my head, on my back, both arms, and both legs. My skin was peeling and hanging." Also in document G, it states, "I saw a man whose skin was completely peeled off, the upper half of his body, and a woman's whose eyeballs were sticking out." This shows that Truman's decision to drop the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki resulted in immense civilian casualties. These tragedies highlight the identical demise associated with the use of such devastating weapons.
Truman's decision to drop the atomic bomb was wrong because the Japanese were going to surrender in the first place. Evidence in the background essay states there was a reason to believe, however, the war could be won without either the atomic bomb or land invasion. Also, in the background essay, it states that Japan agrees to the states President Harry Truman had demanded that Japan agrees to an unconditional surrender. There were to be no negotiations, but the Japanese government wanted a promise that their empire would be protected. This shows that the war could have been won without the atomic bomb or even land invasion, but the Japanese were going to surrender in the first place. And if the United States promised to protect Japan's empire, the Japanese would also surrender, and the United States wouldn't have dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Truman's decision was wrong because the Japanese were already suffering from slow starvation and incendiary bombs. The evidence in the background essay states there was a reason to believe. However, the war could have been won without the atomic bomb or land invasion. Also in the background essay, it states, also using incendiary bombs, U.S. warplanes have been burned out the entire sections of 67 Japanese cities. This shows that Truman's decision was wrong because the atomic bomb could have been avoided if the U.S. kept starving the captured Japanese army men and continued using the incendiary bombs, because the starving captured Japanese men would have been slow, but they would have caused a lot of chaos and destruction, and the incendiary bombs could have been wiped out 67 cities shown in the evidence. So the incendiary bombs and slow starvation all together is just as effective as the atomic bomb.
Imagine hearing that you're going to get bombed out of the war because of a decision the president made. Your life and others are at risk. Meanwhile, the president just makes a decision to drop the atomic bomb, not caring who you are, not caring whether or not you're going to die. Is that something you would want to experience?
First of all, Truman made the right decision when he decided to use the atomic bomb on Japan because he had all the authority to drop it and reduce the number of people who would die during the war. For example, in the background essay, it states that The war needed to end as soon as possible. More than 400,000 American soldiers had already died, and American prisoners of war were held in Japan. If you were president and you were in a necessary war, your soldiers are dying left and right, so you told Japan that you would drop a bomb that will cause mass destruction. If they don't surrender, but they don't listen and keep fighting, which gives you the green light to the atomic bomb.
Secondly, even before Truman dropped the bomb, he gave Japan a warning first in order to get them to surrender, but they still refused. For example, in the background essay, it states, the U.S. warned Japan that it faced prompt and utter destruction unless it surrendered at once. This shows that they couldn't prevent the bomb from being dropped.
Lastly, as President Truman had every right to protect this country because they had attacked us first. And as a leader, Truman, he was with his rights to protect his country. For example, in document F, it states, having found the bomb, we had to use it against those who attacked us without a warning at Pearl Harbor. As a result of this attack, it can be said that Truman, he was with his rights to use the atomic bomb when it was the first country to be attacked by Japan.
Imagine getting hurt to the point where your skin is hanging. You and other people are suffering because of a war that was going on and you didn't know anything about it. And you have no choice but to deal with it, even though you're innocent. Do you think that's fair? I don't think that's fair. Sam, you should.
Imagine you blink and then you open your eyes to see your city destroyed and you feel certain pain everywhere in your body. You have no idea what happened and you look around to see you're limping around and you can't even make out their faces. Turn to see someone with skin hanging and peeling and you look at yourself and see yourself just as dumb, and you also look at the floor and see people laying down hurt. Would you ever want to experience that? Would you want something to happen to you that can be fixed? Well, a lot of people can't imagine it because it was right in front of their faces and they will never forget it.
Imagine already suffering with your country such as starvation and incendiary bombs, and now having to experience a deadly bomb dropping right in front of your eyes. You can lose your loved ones and you lose yourself. Truman's decision was wrong because if you were in those thousands of people's hands that died or got hurt to the point they can't make a recovery, would you think it is fair? I wouldn't.
But think about it. Did Japan instantly surrender after they dropped their bomb? Nor did they surrender in the second one. No, it almost took a week for Japan to surrender. My point is, if Japan would have surrendered, less lives would have been lost.
Ryan, you stated that America was attacking Japan's civilians and the skins were being peeled off and everything. But if you really think about it, did Japan ever give a crap about when they attack America first? They didn't have any concern for their people. No. So why should Truman care, Ryan? If Japan had attacked America first, didn't that give Truman the right to use the atomic bomb on Japan?
Julian, you said that Japan wanted to be protected, but the decision to use the atomic bomb was made in the context of war that had already claimed millions of lives. The Japanese military was known for its fierce resistance, and an invasion of Japan will likely led to an even greater loss of lives on both sides.
In reflecting on the tragic consequences of Truman's decision, it is evident that the devastation brought upon Hiroshima and Nagasaki serves as a haunting reminder of the horrors of war and more complexities inherent in wielding such as destructive power. As we reckon with the past, we must also recognize our collective responsibility to strive for a future where such atrocities are never repeated. By honoring the memory of those who perished and committing ourselves to the pursuit of peace, we can also ensure that the lessons of history guide us toward a world free from specter of nuclear annihilation. Let us heed these lessons and work tirelessly to build a future with dialogue, diplomacy, compassion, and prevail the horrors of war.
So in the end, Harry S. Truman made some tough decisions as president. Some were tough, like using the atomic bomb. And he did all of this for the sake of his country. So we should give some credit to Truman because without him, we wouldn't be here.